And the National Institute for Legislative and Democratic Studies, NILT, recently conducted a 3-day training workshop in Abuja focused on exchanging or enhancing legislative drafting skills for legal officers and drafters in state houses of assembly and ministries of justice. In his opening address, Professor Abubakar Suleiman emphasized the pivotal role of legislative drafting in shaping legal frameworks and amending existing laws. Mavis Ako completes the story.
The Director General, National Institute for Legislative and Democratic Studies, Abubakar Suleiman, has stressed the necessity for meticulous drafting due to the far-reaching societal impact of legislation and reiterated NILT's commitment to providing expert training in this specialized field. While briefing newsmen in Abuja, he said with support from state governors and legislative leadership, the ongoing workshop is aimed to enhance participants' proficiency in legislative drafting, bill analysis, and scrutiny to elevate the quality of legislation at the state level.
The importance of this legislative drafting as the foundation of our law cannot be overemphasized. Legislative drafting takes place at the stage where there's a need for policy or policies to be translated into legal framework, or where a fresh law is required. Legislative drafting is also required for amendment of existing legislation. Legislative drafting is therefore a methodical process which must be undertaken with the utmost skill, as the outcome often have a far-reaching impact on society as a whole, because law itself is a tool for social engineering. The current state of the country requires an increase in the quality of legislations and policy in order to make significant changes in the way our country is being governed. Several factors influence the quality of our legislation. Significantly, there are two critical factors, which to me are content and procedures.
Additionally, Professor Suleiman highlighted NILT's broader initiatives, including a Master of Laws program in legislative drafting and an internship program for aspiring legislative drafters.
It is in realizations of the strategic place that legislative drafting occupies within the lawmaking process that our institute is placing emphasis on this critical area as a professional field of study and practice within our legislative and legal system. NILT has already commenced a Masters of Law (LLM) program in legislative drafting as a way of promoting professionalism in the field of legislative drafting.
Participants from various state institutes actively contributed to this engagement, reflecting the collaborative effort towards legislative capacity building.
From the nature of the participants that came from all the states, I just believe, considering the number of states we have in this country, the ministries of justices and the state houses of assembly, one will expect that at least the number of participants should be more than this. We now say that we don't have much zeal in appraising our minds or to read more or to learn more about drafting? Or do we just say that those of us that try to make this workshop are only the ones that are having these challenges that we are facing in legal drafting? So I think maybe the institute will need to do more. That when you have bad laws, you will tend to have a lot of conflict in courts, and then you start thinking of repealing the laws or amending the laws. So for us to avoid this, I think there will be the need for us to have a lot of participants to have better laws for better society.
We know that training is an important part of the legislative and the drafting process. And so I want to applaud the Institute for constantly training and retraining staffs of the Ministry of Justice, the legal drafting department, and the state houses of assembly. But I would also like to plead that there be more collaboration with the state houses of assembly and the ministries of justice.
And we are promising to place value and to add value to the House of Assembly where we are coming from. Upon our return, we are going to do just what we have been taught.
In conclusion, Professor Suleiman expressed his optimism for the workshop's outcomes and emphasized the importance of applying acquired knowledge to drive positive legislative outcomes within their respective roles, underscoring the Institute's dedication to fostering legislative capacity building across all levels of government.